Hey everybody, welcome to day 2, Breakfast with Bob from XTERRA Oak Mountain. My name is Bob Babbitt. We're brought to you by Master Spas, SFuels Go Longer, HOKA Let's Fly, Form Smart Swim Goggles, Zoot Sports, the original triathlon brand, Premium Plus Sports, and of course our Challenged Athletes Foundation, a young man, 42 years young, still kicking butt and taking names. Branden Rakita joins us. How you doing, Branden?
I'm doing well, thanks, Bob.
I can't believe we've been traveling in this world of triathlon for the last 20 years, and we've never crossed paths before.
Yeah, it's one of those that, it's like, I've been around the sport for quite a while. I've done just about every version of triathlon there is, and some things that just take a little bit longer to line up.
Well, we were chatting before we started here that you were down in Claremont at the training center in 2004 era, thinking about Beijing, and it's always tough when you're dealing with governing bodies and people wearing sports jackets and all that crap, making decisions about your livelihood.
Yep.
And I'm guessing that you got to a certain point of that where you're thinking, okay, I need to do something else.
Yeah, I mean, the points chase is really tough with ITU and doing all of that and going and trying to travel and stuff like that. And at the time, it was just Continental Cups and World Cups, and that was it. And so it was a little bit even simpler than it is nowadays with those. But it definitely is. It's like there is some politicking above, and especially when there's the discretionary spot and that, and it's one of those, like, you work your way up in trying to do that, and it's like I was never able to get onto a World Cup start list with that. And I mean, it's tough. It takes a lot of money to be able to travel to all those places, and further away.
People think that everybody who's trying to do this is getting funding to go to Yokohama. You're paying your own way, and even today, 99.9% of races are in Europe and Asia. They're not. There's nothing in the States. Very few.
Then that does make it really tough on a lot of different things. I was just like, the U.S. is so Ironman focused and Ironman centric with that, and so it does make it a lot more difficult. And even with sponsorships, I mean, for those athletes, it's much harder to get a sponsorship. Even if you're some of the best in the world,
doesn't matter.
In the U.S., there's no races, and
there's no visibility. You don't see those guys.
And
the reality is that if you sit on a plane with somebody, and I've had guys who are multiple-time Olympians sitting on a plane, Hunter Kemper, 4-time Olympian, he's sitting on a plane, and the first thing somebody says to them is, "Oh, you're a triathlete, so you do Ironman."
Yes, exactly. That's always the first comment to anybody, and it's just like, Ironman. You're just like, no, there's other sports.
Really?
There's other more fun.
Yeah.
You can have more fun. You don't have to be out there and just trudging along for hours on end, that sort of thing.
Exactly.
So,
The funniest thing is I did an XTERRA. I did one XTERRA event, and I'm not a bike handler, so I'm out there in the single track. I kept jumping off the bike, worried I was in people's way, right? And there was a point where I actually fell off my bike and couldn't find my bike. And I'm laughing, going, I don't think this would happen in a road triathlon where I don't know where my bike is. So I find the bike, I ride into transition, and I'm about to start the run, and I'm like, so I'm mumbling to myself, boy, this is tough. And one of the guys from XTERRA is in the transition. He goes, if it was easy, we'd call it Ironman.
Yes.
I love that.
Yep.
So when did you find your aha moment where you're like, okay, you mean I can ride a mountain bike and sort of put whatever logos I want, and do whatever the heck I want?
So I mean, I grew up in Durango, Colorado, and so it's
Ned
like
country.
Yes.
Come on.
And so it's like I grew up. I've known Ned for forever. I mean, my dad.
He was my roommate.
Yeah, it's like my dad trained with him when he was training for Ironman originally in the early '80s.
Oh yeah.
With that, so I've known him for a long time. My dad's been very active in triathlon for a long time, and he started doing XTERRA. I did XTERRA Keystone in 2000.
Okay.
And then started doing the road stuff, and it was like had the Olympic aspirations. Those didn't pan out, and so 2008. I had been racing pro for a few years at ITU. Then I transferred to XTERRA, and haven't looked back. I've raced it every year since, and then I've mixed.
So you've been racing since 2008 doing this. Oh my God!
And then you mixed in some 70.3s, non-drafting road tries. Still enjoyed those. I wish I would have kept that up a little bit earlier on when I was doing when I started XTERRA, because I just went full into XTERRA. I wish I would have done a little bit more mix with that.
Right, because the 70.3 was just growing at that point. That's when it was. I think Claremont was 06 or something like that.
So it was just kind of building with all of those, and just kind of slow progression with that, and it's too much fun. It's
so fun. It is so fun. It was funny. We were interviewing somebody yesterday. Oh, it was Josiah. He watched Ned on TV winning XTERRA World Championship going, oh, that looks really cool.
Yeah.
That got him into it. People don't realize how many folks in Ned who had retired from mountain biking and then went to XTERRA for fun and ended up in the Hall of Fame doing that.
Yeah, oh, for sure. And it's one of those, I think Josiah and I have talked a number of times about it, is we're pretty sure our Keystone XTERRA in 2000 was both of our first races.
Oh, that's funny.
It's just he stayed with XTERRA and everything throughout.
You were
and it's like, and I
balancing.
went, and with that, and so we're pretty sure that we were both that was our first race.
that is really funny. And so, but you also did Iron Kids.
Yes. Yep.
Wow! I did the TV for Iron Kids.
Yeah.
Iron Kids Rainbow Colonial Bred National Championship.
Yep.
Lance Armstrong, Nick Ratkowicz. It was really fun.
Yeah, so we traveled around doing, I can't remember the locations we went to, but I want to say it was definitely Denver, Albuquerque, and probably Phoenix were probably the locations that we had gone to for those.
You'd have a bike you'd have a drop frame bike with a disc wheel on it, and then a guy with tassels and a basket on the front. Oh yeah, this is such an interesting mix of folks.
It's like I would borrow my, I think I was on my mom's bike, road bike and everything, and it's still like really, really big. You're just Supermaned out to the nth degree, and just like and dropping the saddle all the way down just to reach the pedals. But doing that, and
so fun.
So it was a lot of fun.
So fun, and then. So cross-tri, I mean, all this cool stuff. 2017, you were at the Penticton ITU cross-tri world champs. You've just been, like you said, you've pretty much done everything there is to do in triathlon.
Yeah.
And the whole concept now of the World Cup, having the short track the day after.
Yeah.
I'm guessing you like all of this.
Yeah, no, it's something that there's been discussion and talks, I think, for years, and we've always brought it up. And it's just like we always have this kind of annual pro meeting at World Champs, and so it's like we go over the course, and then we kind of talk about XTERRA business as well. And so there's always been this discussion in the background of like, okay, having this happen, actually having a World Cup where we go to different races and kind of build off of that. And so it's exciting to see it come around and to be a part of it with that. And it's like, it's like been a long time coming, and so we're very excited about it. And see what happens.
That is very cool. When you look back at like even in 2022, you were 40th at the Worlds, but you got second at Dominican Republic, and USA champ 7th.
Yep.
Right. That's pretty impressive for a guy who's 40 at the time. 40 years old.
So it was. It's been a rough bit of the last couple of years, I guess. Just getting older, and so not recovering as well, getting injuries, that sort of thing, and so that's been a bit of it.
Yes.
With that overall, and then as well, it's like we have a huge influx of very fast young kids.
So many fast people
with
coming
that,
in,
and it's with that, and you just keep building and going from there. But it's like had a couple of good races last year, and Worlds was seeing the evolution as well, just with Worlds going from Maui and now it's going to rotate with that, and we'll be in Italy for a couple of years, and then it's going to rotate to somewhere else and stuff. And I am a fan of rotating championships with that, because it does not showcase just or be specific to one athlete, to one type of athlete, because it's like there's a specific athlete and a specific physiology that will race better in Hawaii.
Oh yeah.
And compared to other locations and stuff like that.
We see that with Ironman as well, right?
And so it's just like, yes, I understand the history, but I think a lot of the Ironman athletes that are so against like Kona moving, I was like, you realize that Kona was not the original location for Ironman. It was Oahu. And so you're just like, I was like, yes, but it's just like, so I think Ironman actually has found a good balance with that. And so I'm excited to see with XTERRA the same thing, where it's like you get those different locations, the different things. And that's one of the exciting things about XTERRA is because we're on the mountain bike, the trails change so drastically from course to course, and it can really change who the course suits with that. And so it's like, like Oak Mountain is so special because they have a fantastic trail system. I love coming back here all the time.
It seems that people, all the single track, people just love it.
Yeah. It makes it very tough to pass, but you're having so much fun on the bike.
Right.
It's one of those, like, you're not just sitting on a Jeep road climbing for forever. You're not just like pounding along. That is like, you're constantly doing something. You have to stay on focus the entire time. Otherwise, you're just going to go flying off.
And with the rain we've had, it'll be, and it's funny, when I interview 70.3 athletes or Ironman athletes, it's like, have you heard what the wind's going to be? Have you heard about, is there going to be any rain? And everybody here is like, please bring me more weather.
Yeah.
The wetter it is, the tougher the conditions are, we want it all.
Yeah.
Where the Ironman guys are like, God, I hope there's no wind.
Yeah, and no, it's one of those, like with the rain, is I got in on Wednesday night and built the bike and got here as quick as I could, and it's like when I was driving down here, just pouring down.
Right.
And like I've been on the course before when it's been really wet, and so and so I know how it rides.
Right.
It's more for me, I'm like, okay, I want to start riding when it's dry, and then it can start raining while I'm riding, and then I'm okay.
Exactly.
But getting going in the rain is always the most difficult.
Yes.
But yeah, learning how to ride the roots, the wet roots and rocks and stuff like that.
Wet roots
is
are the
definitely
wicked.
that.
That algae on there, and it's slip.
Yeah,
it's the
with
worst.
those. Yeah.
So 2019, you had a real serious 6 tier. How many times have you done this race?
Let's see. I'm not 15, 14, 15
Oh my God.
years, something like that.
So you were 6th tier in 19, and I look at you in 19, you had a 4th at Victoria, a 5th at Quebec, a 5th. You had a great season.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
World's 27th.
Yeah.
Not you're happy with that. But everything else was great, and then the world shuts down the following year. When you're, what, 38, 30?
Yeah.
So you're probably thinking, this next year, 2020 is going to be awesome.
Yeah.
And then, when the clock's ticking towards, it's not like your career's going to go forever.
Yep.
Maybe it will. But you're thinking, okay, I just lost 2020.
Yeah.
All right, well, 2021 will be okay. Well, there's just a couple little things in 2021.
Yeah.
You have a few races. But was that hard for you? Just knowing that, hey, this is the time that I could be.
Yeah. I mean, coming off of a really good year with that, and then going into 2020, it was really tough with that. And then as things would happen, is like I had a lot more important things happen in my life that year.
What happened?
And so my wife was diagnosed with breast cancer less than a year after we got married.
Oh my God!
And so she is.
And that was when?
That was in July 1st, 2020. So right
not
in the
that
middle.
the year was bad enough to begin with.
Yeah.
Oh
One
my
of
God.
those. My wife has a very interesting sense of humor, a very dark sense of humor, and so it's like, so there's a lot of things that, but she would say it was like if there was any year to get cancer, that was it, because you didn't miss out on anything.
Oh my God!
It's like there were no concerts, nobody's traveling, like there's
like,
everybody's
good
just
news
like,
and
hey,
bad news.
good news, exactly. You're just like, hey,
Good news, I didn't miss anything.
Yep, with that. And so we were going through that journey at that time and everything, and so it's been that was a very interesting part of it, and just supporting her, and so that was the main thing, is just sit there and support her and do whatever she needed to to have the best outcome and everything. And so it's like we're in a very fortunate situation that it's like everything has gone really, really well.
And she's doing well.
She's been doing so she's been remission for 2 years.
Oh, that's awesome.
With that, and so it's been very, very good with that. So
wow.
Yeah.
That's I love her attitude. That's amazing.
Yep.
Hey, good news. I'm not missing a thing.
Yeah.
Everybody's at home.
Yeah. So I mean, when the pandemic started and everything, it's like she would go to spin studios and do stuff with that, and so like for her to stay active, and this is before she had even gotten diagnosed, stuff like that. So we put her bike on my trainer, and so she would ride that and everything, just to have some sort of physical activity to do that sort of thing with those outside of just kind of the normal.
Yes.
And so I would do most of my riding outside, but it's like when I needed to pop her bike off, put mine on. And then after a year of doing that, she was using the Peloton app, doing all of the rides there, and it's just with all of that. And then finally, I was just like, I was very against having an indoor bike. I was just like, I have a trainer. You're good on that. Like, we don't need a Peloton. We don't need this in the.
So you just put the Peloton app on.
So with that, and so doing that, but then after like everything with that, it's like she convinced me that to get one, and I was just like, all right.
And
I relented. And
she's using it.
She's using it. She uses it all of the time, and stuff like that.
People love it.
Yeah. Oh,
People love it. When I travel and they have the app available in the workout rooms, I'm like, oh, I love those classes. They're really cool.
Yeah.
Somebody tell me what to do is always good.
Yeah.
Has this, going through that, has that changed the way you approach the sport?
A I don't necessarily know it's changed the way I've approached the sport, but it's just like, I mean, you cherish the time, you cherish the things a little bit more, I would say, overall.
Yeah, you come to a place like this you've been to a million times, but maybe you look at it a little differently. It's like, I don't know how many more times I'm going to be racing here at the, at the elite level.
Yeah.
Enjoy every second of it.
Yeah, you enjoy those times with the friends and stuff like that. And it's just like, I have an amazing homestay here with Casey Fannin and Andrea.
And you've been there doing that for years?
Yeah, I've been doing that for years before I was there. That was Conrad's homestay.
Oh my God,
and
the
everything.
caveman.
So it's like, yeah, so they've been around. It's just like, Casey and Andrea have been around for forever, and it's just like, yeah, it's an amazing community that they have here with everything, and yeah, everybody supports it so much, and so it's like, yeah, you just appreciate being around, such amazing people.
Now, are you still in Durango?
No, I mean Colorado Springs.
Oh, okay.
Yep, yeah. Would love to be in Durango, but it's a little hard to travel out of. It's not quite as easy, and so you're just like, you make certain choices, but yeah, I mean Colorado Springs is great. It's amazing mountain biking. Like I can get onto trail within like 3 or 4 minutes from my house, and just get up in the mountains and out and away and stuff. So it just makes it really nice.
So did you train a lot with Ned in Durango?
Some we did I would do the Tuesday night Worlds ride, stuff like that when I was with that, and then I went to college there for 2 years, but I was mainly focused on just running at the time. Right. And then I transferred to see Colorado State, and then with that, and then after that I've been out of Durango. So, but yeah, so it's like definitely did some track workouts, some hill reps, and then the Tuesday night Worlds ride in Durango, which I mean you have so many talented riders coming out of Durango. It's just like there's always somebody to go out and kick your ass. So.
Yeah. Ned and I had some. We met rock climbing in Mexico. Yeah. And then we ended up going to Ironman in 1980. And that guy was just such a freak. What an athlete. And the first triathlon we did, everybody thought that he had cut the bike course. It's like, well, this guy just rode faster than everybody here. Yeah. Who is this guy? Over end? What, he fell over end over end? Yeah. So they had no idea. And then he just became the lung. He just became the legend. Yeah. So as a guy who's 41 years old and you're still able to race as a pro, how long you want to race as a pro? As long as you can.
I go back and forth on that, and so it's one of those like you always want to end on a good year, and so I'm just like, oh, I should have ended in 2019, but no,
that was a great year.
Still have a lot of fun doing this, just being out here and with that, and it's like I mean Josiah has joked about it as well. It's like I retire at the end of every year, and then I decide to come back.
Why not?
And you're just like it is.
Same
it's a lot of fun.
With Josiah, right?
Yeah.
So I think it was the same type of thing. He said he was going to stay 2020 when the World Cup was going to launch. Yeah. He was going to, I'll do the first year of the World Cup and then I'll be done. Yep. And then it's like, well, keep
stretching, and then Sully comes along and you're just like, oh yeah. So
and I'm still able to do it. Yep. Why not? But have you had to change a lot in terms of your training with age?
I probably need to change more than I have, but it's been, I would say, still trying to do just as much as I always have. Right. It's like recovery is probably a little bit more, not, trying to not push as much, stuff like that. But it's like, I had surgery on my meniscus to take out a little tear in March, and so it's like I have very little run fitness coming into this race. Right. So it'll just be, just go out and just kind of have fun, fake it till I make it, and then, but it's going to be. I mean, there's so many fast runners that I'm like that it's going to be a really tough go this weekend. But it's like just trying to get my footing underneath me basically, and just kind of progress towards the end of the season and look for better races and at USA Champs and at Worlds later on.
Do you coach as well?
No, I don't. So I work at a bike shop. I've been doing that for a really long time.
Good for you.
But so it's been really good.
You living the dream.
Yes.
Traveling the world. Will you try to do most of the World Cup this year?
Doing a decent number. I had to be convinced to go to Belgium. My wife needed a vacation, and so it's like, and then and it's one of the things with XTERRA as well is it's such a community. And
what a family.
Like with. I mean, it's like I've stayed with Josiah at a number of races, and it's like, and Susie Snyder is a very, very close friend as well. And so it's like we travel together a lot for races. And so Susie was going over, and then I was just like, all right, as soon as I knew I could kind of be active, I was just like, okay, but it is tough to go to a race and not be at, even 90% or 95% of full strength. Of course. And be able to race really, really well and go in and do that. But so it's like I'll go and do Belgium. and with the European champs, and hopefully make the short track there.
Yes.
With the qualification procedures, stuff like that, and then make it over for USA champs.
Yes.
And then worlds. Maybe debating about XTERRA Quebec again in July, just to fill something in. But yeah, it's kind of I'll see how training's going and how everything's kind of progressing there.
Good for you.
Whether or not I go back up, but that's another amazing course, another awesome course. They have just such good trails in Canada, both Quebec, Whistler, Victoria, everything with those.
I've heard great things.
With that, it's really good.
Good for you, man.
Yeah.
Such a treasure, such a pleasure to get to meet you.
Yeah, thank you.
Congrats on everything you're doing. Have fun out there. So you'll do both Saturday and Sunday, and you like the short track.
I don't know if I like it, but I'm a fan. I am a fan of it, and having that. It's something like when ITU Cross Tri came around and they were doing the multi-loop format. It's something that I was always in favor of. It's like I like multi-loop where the spectators can see us more often and get involved and stuff like that. So I do like the short track. I don't know that it necessarily fits my physiology in the way that I can do things, but yeah, it's like I'll give it a crack and we'll go from there and just have some fun.
Well, thank you, bud. Appreciate the time.
No problem. Thank you, Bob.
All right, Branden Rakita has been our guest again. Breakfast with Bob, day 2, XTERRA Oak Mountain. Hold on, we will be right